may I introduce myself? So my name is Drazen. I'm from Serbia. It's in Southern Europe, and we could say we are quite close to Greece, so everybody knows where the Greece is. And I'm in software development industry for more than 20 years, and working on development and consulting and implementing custom solutions in for systems in the domains like digital marketing, insurance, e-commerce, to name a few. And today I would like to talk about some experience and some key things which should be crucial when it comes to communication within your outsourced team, and what are those key factors that could make this collaboration successful for everybody. So I've prepared a couple of slides, just an illustration, so I hope it will be fine to share this. So let's see if this would work. So I hope that you're able to see my slides. I mean, when it comes to work with outsource teams, this can be very beneficial. But when there is some poor communication which comes into play, then things become very challenging. It is also a surprise that many would like to start outsourcing their work or work together with partners which are overseas or not in the same time zone. They identify in general the language, the cultural barriers, and also time zone differences as a make the seamless. But on the other hand, this all can or put to the minimum if some best practices are followed, and the work with your remote team can be productive and efficient. So I've first talk about the communication tools. Of course, we can use calls, direct, when it comes with a remote team, the asynchronous communication is actually one of the key things we need to take care about. So,
hey, Drazen, sorry to interrupt.
We can
you're breaking up a little bit.
this
Can you hear me?
Then we can as fast as possible. And when time zone difference, we should find some typing hours in our team so that we can at least have some time where we are actually working at the same time. This can help us organize some meetings and calls where we can all be there. But on all other things, we should use the proper tools and the right communication channel for the topic. As I'm sure that you're all aware of all those different ways and means how we can communicate in this digital world. So like email or using Slack or Microsoft Teams, Zooms, and there are also other different tools we can use there. But I want to stress out is that on the one side, we should not have too many communication channels defined. So we should say, okay, we use like email, Slack, and maybe video calls. And this is our communication tools, and we know where we can search for the information. This is especially comes in handy when using tools like Slack, where you have also history and also can share documents. And then if somebody gets out from vacation or is in other time zone, that he can really easily pick up and where the current team topics are. So on one side, we should not have too many channels, but also we should take care and about to use the proper channel, to use the right channel for the topic we want to communicate. Meaning that if there is no need that I can call you to give you some information, I can just leave you a message on Slack where you will pick it up because it is not urgent, or it is not important that we discuss this topic right now. So we should use then Slack, for example, in this case. So when I mean, this is I would say more easier to say than done. People have their natural habits, what they would like to use. Some people are more on like, for example, extroverts. They are more in a way that want to communicate with people, want to get in touch with people, and they are usually use some video calls or phone calls. They prefer those channels, while others are more who are more on introvert side, let's say, they would like to have it concise and do it in not direct but in asynchronous way, etc. They prefer to use like emails or Slack, but at the end we should see about the when we need to exchange some information, how important it is to act on it. Is it enough that we should send just an email or a Slack message, or we need to make a call? So I know that a lot of people having kind of to challenge to judge at the specific point. Should I use email, or should I actually do a call and alert something, or something like that? But definitely this is something that should be a kind of a process, and that everybody should be aligned on this, that we use the right communication channel for the specific topic, and if possible to use asynchronous communication channels, so that I'm not interrupting your work if I need to send you something, inform you something, and vice versa. While when there is something important, we try to schedule the calls, or if it is very critical, then we of course will pick up and use some call. And when it comes to calls, I would say that we should prefer, especially working in this outsource, this remote mode, that we should prefer video calls. So with having also some kind of a human touch, that I can see your face, you can see my face, and also everybody in the call from the team, that we, even if we are not sitting in the same room, that we are a bit more connected than just using audio call. Yeah. So I think it really makes some difference. And also one other thing I saw, especially in some hybrid environments where, for example, part of the team is on premise, on the client side, and on outsource team, they are somebody work remote working from different locations. If we are remote, that we have like a remote first approach. So meaning that we should not use conference room, so that 3-4 people sitting in a conference room and making a call from a conference equipment, by others are sitting at their computer. So there's some kind of separation, we and they, or something like that. So if possible, everybody should use and call from their computer, for example, or their phone, so that everybody is in the same environment. And I would say that in all this, we should try to refrain from over communication or micromanagement of what you must do, and that I'm always calling you to check how you're doing. So the information flow should be as seamless as possible. So because over communication is just as harmful as lack of communication. So there should exist certain level of trust between different parties involved in some collaboration, and that can create a successful product and some healthy environment, which is also important in making the success story. So the next thing which I think is important is to define and then use a proper tools for communicating what needs to be done, and on the other side to monitor where we are and what we achieved so far, how far we are from what we where we would like to go, and how far we reached. So and to have some seamless remote project management. I'm also sure that most of you are already using tools like Atlassian, Jira, Trello, or GitHub projects, or there are also many different tools. I would say that most of them are giving the similar experience, but for sure we would need to use some tool to manage and to track the project. And this tool is not just like having some Gantt charts or to see where we are currently, how many tasks we implemented, and what is still left and what are the problems, but also to use those tools for communication as well. And in many projects, for example, we use those tickets we create for things we need to be done. We use them, those comments in those tickets, as a kind of a documentation later for somebody else who need to pick up, or so to as well documenting what we are working, what challenges we faced, how we solved them, etc. And on many projects, I'm also asking people to, when it comes to communicating something related to a concrete ticket, a concrete task we are working on. In that case, the project management tool, so the ticket itself could be maybe the best place where we should put this information, or to ask a question to clarify what needs to be done, or similar things which are related to work we are currently working on a concrete task. So that's why those tools are quite handy, especially when somebody is assigned to those tasks. They can also automatic notifications via email or chat when somebody is commenting on the ticket they are working on, or they created, or maybe somebody is mentioning them, so that they know they need to act something. But as I said, on the other side, that those tools are very powerful to do a project management and to really monitor the project. They're also very powerful to have a good and focused communication on different topics. So when you open one ticket, you can see that what's going on, what was the how things developed, what we did before. And I've also worked on some projects where we collaborate with the client for like 5, 6 or more years, and when you need to change something in this specific area, and then you can go back there and to see how, okay, this is why we decided to go this path and implement this in that way. So this can be really helpful then to understand and the project later, so to be it more maintainable on the long run, and to keep this maintenance cost as optimal as possible. When it comes to methodologies, for sure, the agile methodologies like Scrum are one which are mostly used today. But again, it is not that I think crucial will we use Scrum or Kanban or maybe some other organization, as long as we have a process and agreement how we would like to go and define what our next goals we go for, and how we'll monitor this. But I think that for the this communication of what needs to be done is very well managed also when using tools like those project management tools. On top of that, I would say that when it comes to availability and that we know who is available when somebody goes to vacation or is ill or absent from some other reason, that we should also have some kind of a shared calendar. It can be also realized in the tools like this, but also, I mean, on some project we have just a simple for example, additional Google Calendar in our team, where everybody can place out of office or sick leave or etc. So that you are, so everybody can really see availability, and so that we also communicate this information about availability. So so we can plan, for example, next sprint or the plan for the work for the next period. And I would also add from experience working with different countries, that also in different countries we can have different public holidays during the year. So it is common thing. So that we also put this information so into those shared calendars, so that we can see when it is expected for somebody on both sides of this collaboration to be available or not. Of course, it is the best if we can manage somehow that everybody is working in the same, let's say, hours, and that we are using the same holidays. And but usually in practice it is not that easily achievable from the legal perspective or whatever. But anyway, I think it is not that critical, as long as we have as we communicate this information upfront enough, so early enough. So when we have this, we can plan with this information and make a decision what we would like to do, or to give some to give some like not promises, but to see what can be done in the next period, so that client can not, client can to understand what he can expect, like in a week or a month or so. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to sharing documents and files, so this is also one important topic. So I try for on most of the projects where it is possible to use those those tickets, so ticketing system, and to share specific documents related to specific tickets where they are related to. Of course, there are also some other documents needs to be shared or exchanged from the legal perspective, or some like effort estimations, or yeah, the different concepts, etc. There should be also one place where this can be shared, so either in those project management tools like mentioned here, or maybe to have some cloud solution like Google Drive or OneDrive from Microsoft. And yeah, there are so many different uh, solutions we can use nowadays in the clouds, so for some seamless document sharing. Of course, when it comes to documentation of the project, it would also help to have it on a central place and maintain it on a central place, like for example using also a product for Atlassian like Confluence, or there are also different similar tools where we can use to like wiki like of our project, so all important documentation should be there. But still the challenge with all those documentation in wiki like approach is that it can easily get stale and outdated, and somebody needs to take care about updating it. And it really takes some effort to maintain and keep up to date the this documentation portal. So I urge that. So from my perspective of what and the experience so far, those centralized documentation system are very important to share information, and but should be, let's say, pragmatic as concise as possible, because in that way the documentation is easier maintained and keep up to date. Then there are so many documents and text and graphs, etc., and that it can easily. I mean, I saw on many different projects that people just give up after some time. So there's so many different documents, maybe 60% of 70% of that is already outdated, but nobody actually has and the time nor willing to invest some effort in really making clearing this mess up. So I would think it should be as concise as possible and keep up to date. Yeah. So yeah, I think that I wanted to say about the project management tools. The other topic I would also to point out is that related what just I talked, that all those things we do communicate via chats or especially via calls. All those important things should be written down somewhere, and especially the main decisions, then some agreements we made, some processes, how we would like to proceed, and just to avoid some misunderstanding, some misinterpretation. And what is also a good practice is that we consider those especially when it comes to processes and those main decisions, as work with them in some agile way. So we do not need to write everything down at once, but we do write, for example, some process, how we would like to approach developing some specific features, or organize development in general, or organize our communication. So we can write some notes, some points of some bullet points, how we would like some like a checklist, what we want to do, and then we can present that to the team and do some kind of review, do some changes. Somebody points out how, okay, we agreed we'll have a video calls every Friday, but maybe in our culture, Fridays is not that focus there, how we put it. So let's do it at Thursday, so that we can say, okay, let's change this and update our processes, so that also documentation can be a bit tested and acted, so that this is like a live thing, and that we can model it and focus to and improve it over time. So definitely all those main things should be written somewhere. And again, it is also a challenge to keep it on a one or just a few places, not to be scattered everywhere through emails, to Slack channels, that we say, okay, we use for example Confluence, or we will use some wiki system for all those main things. All other things can be put in these project management tools like Python, Jira, or Trello, etc. And when I need to find some information, I can know where to search for it. When it comes to documenting what the work which needs to be done, I think this is especially in our IT industry, is important point, that if you do not describe and you do not define what you want to get, most probably you will not get it. So describing requirements should be as clear as possible, and basically we want to avoid those back and forth, so that on one side project manager or product managers is writing down what needs to be done, then the team is implementing something, but it appears that they didn't understood what needs to be done, or they were not clear enough about some specific use cases or sub-use cases. So the documenting tasks and tickets should be as precise as possible. Of course, there are for in those agile practices like Scrum, there are some like best practices how those user stories should be defined, that there should be always acceptance criteria, how I want to confirm and test and verify that what I did is actually meeting all the requirements, etc. So I think that from my experience, I've worked on many different projects. There is always room to improve on this part on both sides, also on client and the product manager, for example, and also on the sides of the development team, so that we have some clear idea what needs to be done, and we also have some clear documented points that we can be sure and we know how to verify that we understood what needs to be done, and that we can verify that actually we did each and every point which is required, so that we can say, okay, we are finished with this concrete use case. So I think that so using so this is very important information. So we want to tell the team what to do, but also on the other side we want to be sure that that our team is not implementing what we do not need, because it is just wasted effort. And that's why this sharing information in so this communicating of what needs to be done should be the best in so those written format and as detailed as possible. I think it's definitely worth an effort to document the requirements as precise as possible and review them, etc. That on the long run, really, this is something which actually will save a lot of time. Okay, so one other topic. So this is last in my list for today. If it possible, if this can be arranged, you should pay a visit to your remote team, and definitely this will stronger the connection you have, and can boost productivity and efficiency at the end. And basically, collaboration becomes easier after you go to lunch with somebody, do some small talk, and you actually get to know the person on the other side, also not just from strictly business relation, but also some kind of person-to-person relation. Of course, there are different culture and different cultural differences, but I think as long as people are how to say that people have a good intentions, and they can really work very good together. And when you come to and see something in person, it gives you a different level when you get back home, to that this remote work will function much better and efficient. And pre-corona times, we got regular visits from our clients, and our team members also went to our clients. So now we had the pause for it for some years, but it starts to getting back. So sometimes the people, the remote team could be very far away, but still, I think really makes a difference, and would worth an effort, and also to invest if possible to meet the teams in person, maybe to organize some small team building activity, or if possible they also can come to on premise or to the client. and this can make a change. So yeah, in a couple of weeks I'll be visiting our client in Switzerland. We were collaborate for a long time, but last time we see us in person like 3 years ago, so pre-corona time. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and it's definitely something which I would recommend. So yeah, I would just quickly share some information about our company that called Deavensoft, and basically we are in software development and consulting. Our services are cloud software development, custom software development, MVP consulting and implementation as well. And we can also offer services like UI UX design, and when the product is ready, that we can also deploy it and manage it. So hosted on different clouds or on-premise, etc. And yeah, so basically, I would say that each of those tips we talked today, they are crucial to have effective communication. And but still, this is a, let's say, ongoing process. So we achieve some level, but we should strive and to see what we can further improve, and to search for opportunities for improvement. And this is definitely something which can benefit to all of us. And yeah, as a closing statement, I would say that while there are challenges when working with outsourced business and vendors and outsourced teams, time and distance would not be a problem and a factor that if we have the appropriate communication system in place, and that we agree how we would like to communicate efficiently. So that is from my presentation. So if there are some questions, yeah, please feel free to ask.
Drazen, thank you so much for your time and that insight. That was really cool, really awesome. I have some questions for you, but before I ask them, I'm going to let the audience kind of step in and see if anyone has any questions for you. While we wait here for some of these questions to roll in, how can people connect with you? Where can they find you online?
Yeah, so I'm and the company is on LinkedIn, on website. We have also some profile on social networks, and yeah, I think on when we choose the name for the company, so we try to find a name which is kind of unique, so that it is easily found on Google. Yeah. So yeah, you can also find us on search engines as well. Yeah. I cannot hear you at the moment.
What about now?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm sorry about that. My mute button literally was just frozen. I apologize for that. Thank you. I'm not sure where I cut off or whatnot, but thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. We have about 4 minutes, so I haven't seen any questions come in. So I'm not sure if you have any last parting words for the audience, or just everyone that's here joining us as we go on and navigate through the rest of 2022 going into 2023. What advice or wisdom would you share with the audience about just outsourcing and just from I guess let me take a step back in the sense of from a founder perspective, but also just like a team member at an early stage startup, right? Because I think that's our audience. So kind of giving both spectrums of that and sharing your insights.
Yes, well, I would say that when we even if we are remote and not co-located, but on the other side, if we see that we are actually working together, And this means of working together, that we are actually part of one big story, really also can make a difference. And I would say that yeah, that it's not like we are like outsource company working for you, but should be working with you. And that if you see them as an integral part of your team, this can bring, you know, additional commitments and additional perspective how the work is actually prescribed, so that you are not just, okay, you're an outsource company, you're in service business, but when you work for some product and you have long-term cooperation, actually you become a product oriented developer, for example. So it gives you a different perspective of how you perceive all the work, and gives you also, puts you in some spot where you can give some advices and consultings and to improve the product itself. So somehow to identify that, yeah, one of the clients we cooperated for a very long time, he said, okay, I have a, it's a digital marketing system, so it is my baby, but I know that it's also your baby, because you implement the core of it, you maintain it for so many years, and you know, it really makes a difference. Yeah.
No, I definitely can understand that. I've been on both ends as an early stage employee at different startups, but also a founder myself. I've gone through some of those pains, and just really interesting. So we have about a minute or so left. I'll end it with this if no one else is going to chime in and ask any questions. Maybe everyone's still kind of sleeping. It is 7:33, I guess, in the West Coast, so I'm Central Time. But as you know, technology advances, and you know, I think they just, you know, that big MarTech report just came out a couple weeks ago, and it showed, I don't know, I think it was like 8,000 like different types of like MarTech tools. Like in a very noisy world with so many tools and so many different like integrations, how do you just make things simple, you know, and just make it, you know, less is better?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, I mean, definitely we should refrain to use too many different options. I mean, every option or every tool has its pros and cons comparing to the others, but we should try to agree and keep things simple. So definitely when it comes to communication and collaboration in that sense, for defining what work needs to be done, etc., we should try to pick just a few tools and agree, okay, for this concrete project we'll use that one. Yeah. And then try to stick to it. If we see that it doesn't work, or okay, we can change this, so it's not a problem. But when the information is scattered among different sources and tools, I mean, it becomes really a burden and a problem. So better even maybe to have suboptimal tool, but you choose one, then you have I don't know, 5 different tools you're using for the same purpose, but then you get lost when you need to find something.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially, you know, I work with, you know, my remote teams and whatnot. And the thing that I've learned through, you know, the last 18 to 24 months is, you know, creating a process that, you know, I can systemize. So then, you know, when we're ready to scale, we can automate that, right? Because it's about being efficient and very process driven, right? In order to have clear, concise, and effective communication. And that's something I've recently just got decently good at, I guess you can call it. But overall, you know, I think something I pride myself on is like over communicating, just because I rather over communicate than under communicate. But you know, that's just my point of view on that. So I know we are about a minute over. We are still waiting on the other speaker. So if you want to hang around for a few more minutes, I don't know if you have any other things you want to chat about while we wait for Aziz to jump on. I'll kind of leave the floor open for another minute or so, a couple minutes till we need to move on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can mention that when it comes to, I mean, maybe not directly related to communication, but what I saw in different projects is that there is a business analyst role, yeah. And so it's maybe directly to the topic we just spoke, but I think that this is one role that I saw that really helped a lot of projects to really be smooth and every was very successful because there is also, you know, this is like a communication translator. So this person actually translates, so talks to business people, talks to development team. So he knows both languages, and then he can or she can translate, in quotes, what actually needs to be done, can resolve questions, and especially when developers have some questions, and you need to ask owner or how we would like to push this specific feature like that. So if you talk too technically, maybe the other person would not understand, and vice versa. But when there is this person, this analyst, yeah, or how we'll call it, in between, that really helps to seamless this communication, and that we are talking in language that everybody can understand. Yeah. So I would say that, and I would recommend that there was some person who plays this role. So this does not to be really dedicated person just for that, but that somebody wearing that hat and that really can support, yeah, project going. You know. Sorry, we cannot hear you again, yeah? Or at least I can.
I apologize. I forget that I'm on mute. So, you know, as someone that, you know, I love kind of just testing out new tools. You know, I come from like a growth marketing background, so I'm always constantly learning about new tools, and I help out with startup accelerators. So I get to see, you know, different SaaS products being built or that come through our accelerator program. So to me, it's really fascinating, you know, like why some of these problems that these solutions are solving. So you know, I like to make these conversations engaging and, you know, as much educational as possible, but also entertaining. So let's I have an out of the box question for you, and maybe we can provoke some thoughts from the audience as well. But ultimately, I think for me, with communication, I think finding as we move forward, you know, because we live in such a noisy world, like how do people communicate without actually like physically like communicating? And what I mean by that is like, how do you almost build like I've learned about this concept called like, you know, the building your digital brain, right? Where the companies, everything, their how-tos, their documentation, everything is like within this command center, and it's accessible to everyone within the company, depending on, you know, the different levels that you're at. The higher up, you know, the more access. So how do companies, are you familiar with that, you know, or building kind of like I don't even know what you would call a system that allows you to, you know, create, document, store, and share, you know, across your company, small or big, accessible to anyone that has the correct access in order to communicate, you know, the brand, the story, whatever it is that you're trying to communicate, the project in a very fluid and user-friendly way, I guess. Not to,
Yeah, I would say
put it out there.
It is definitely a challenge, and as you mentioned, so that there could be a big and smaller companies, and I think there are different approaches how you should share some information between, like there's just 5 of us. We are more or less, even if we are remote, we are more or less on call every day, and you know, we should know where to find for information. I think this is the main challenge. So even if you have this information, do I know how to find it and where to search for it? So I mean, definitely tools like some wiki systems or like Atlassian Conference, for example, they are good for using to centralize this digital brain, as I mentioned it. So, and there are also some good search capabilities, etc. But at the end, I mean, there should be also some sessions like to tell people where to look for the information, how to find, and what actually is there you can expect to find, and things like that. And I guess this maybe needs to be repeated from time to time. And when new people comes on during onboarding, that they I think this is one of the important things. I saw that when I worked for some bigger companies, that they really have those very good onboarding points where, okay, you got your computer, you know what is your manager, but okay, here is our information portal, you know how you should ask for your holiday, how you should, where you should find the, to call if your machine is not working, etc. So this is all important things which can save a lot of time.
No, I completely agree. Especially as we move into this kind of, hybrid model, forward. I think what I noticed, especially with like more of like the mid-sized businesses or the scale-ups, was they had I know of some startups that had killer onboarding processes in person, in real life, but that whole virtual approach is completely different, right? And how do you make it, still very, organic, so it doesn't, it feels, natural and not something where they have to be at this training, but rather that they want to be at this training type of mentality. So yeah, replicating that virtually is going to be an interesting challenge that I'm looking forward to people solving next year. So I know we are about 10 minutes over our scheduled time. I really appreciate you taking over staying over and joining us for a few extra minutes. Feel free to still, he should be joining us here. We've had some technical difficulties, our next speaker, but we should be live here in the next couple of minutes. I apologize to everyone, but not sure if you want to stick around still a little bit more or if you have to go, but feel free to drop off. And I will just hang out here a little bit more until we get our next speaker. So thank you again for your time.
Yeah, so thank you as well. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share some experience and ideas about this topic. And yeah, I mean, really kudos for organizing summits like this. I think it's very beneficial. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. We appreciate it, and I'll follow up with you afterwards just to connect and see how we can help each other out. But thank you so much for joining us and all the amazing insight you provided. It was an absolute pleasure having you on here today. So feel free to stick around or join the audience or hang out in the back stage room. So have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day to all.